Logan Paul is many things. Boxer, crypto shiller, influencer, podcast bro, but above all, he is a cautionary tale.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
For the past 15 years, Logan has built his brand on bro culture. Smash or pass videos, prank wars, bikini photo thumbnails, and an ego built on smashing that like and subscribe button. In the Paul empire, women were props, punchlines, or problems. But in a karmic twist of fate, that same audience that celebrated his objectification of women has suddenly turned on him. So this is the story of how Logan Paul, American meathead turned mogul, realized that women are not just, in fact, Carl's Jr. ads, and actually people, and sometimes they're even your daughter. Welcome to Tyler's Kitchen, the show where I talk about my interests, which include but are not limited to history, pop culture, and random shit I see on the internet with a few more jokes than is necessary and or appropriate. Muzzle top. Peach Monster fucks it up, guys. Ugh. I'm a monster. Hey Logan, Prime is the only thing in the universe more artificial than your personality. Logan's been canceled and come back so many times, I think the only thing with a longer shelf life than his career is a lunchly. Logan Paul likes to boast that he was Vine's biggest star. That's like telling people you were the employee of the month at a Blockbuster. I think Impulsive is the only circle jerk, show that's dumb enough to make Joe Rogan seem like a tenured professor. He's boxed Floyd Mayweather, Dylan Dennis, KSI, and yet his final boss is the Federal Trade Commission. I think the only fight he could win is against accountability. 100 Logan Pauls versus being honest. 100 Logan Pauls versus not scamming children. Years ago, Logan made headlines for his horrifying, distasteful Japan vlog, and yet it's still not the worst movie he's made. Let's get into this recipe. Today we're making Ohio Buckeyes, because he's from Ohio. Yeah, I could have made Lunchly from scratch or Prime, but I didn't want to die. So to start out, let's do a bit of a walk through misogyny memory lane.
Bombas has officially reinvented the sock. And it's the best thing since sliced bread. These aren't your husband's old smelly tube socks. These are performance-enhancing, sweat-wicking, blister-proof masterpieces. They're perfect for Pilates or pretending you're not walking past your ex's house. And let's talk style. Half-calf socks for summer fits, no-shows for your boat shoes, and frilly ones if you're running into your enemy at the supermarket. And the best part, for every pair you buy, Bombas donates another pair to someone in need. They've already donated over 150 million items. And as an added bonus, they now ship internationally. So feel good and do good with Bombas. New customers can get 20% off using code TylerBender at bombas.com/TylerBender. Again, that's code TylerBender at bombas.com/TylerBender.
Logan Paul was never known to be an ally to all women. One of the craziest things he did was his No Handlebars music video in 2017, where he literally rode women like bicycles.
I can ride your girl with no handlebars.
And it was so bad that Flowbots sued him. In his world, women are literally props. Even in his vines. This was the era of like Lele Pons, and they still do this crap on Instagram Reels. Girl with a big butt, King Batch looking at it like, oh. It's literally Tom and Jerry humor, except clickbaiting with a girl's butt cheek. Absurd. And he was one of the people that was propagating this style. And then participating in challenges like Smash or Pass, talking about body count, literally everything under the sun. The vibes were so misogynistic, we might legally consider them a frat pledge. At least with piece of shit frat guys, they're contained into a house of doom. We take the worst men in the world, and at least we trap them together and put them away from society. But now with social media, they have a platform to escape the frat house. Now they're reaching far and wide. That wasn't supposed to happen. You know, children aren't supposed to be interacting with frat brothers, but now because of the internet, they are. So it's like early onset fraternity brain. Wow, this is anthropology. Somebody study this. I don't want to be nitpicky here, but like you can even just scroll through his YouTube titles. Check this out. Going Deep with Riley Reid. Oh, and you don't even want to see it. Cue the thumbnail. Corinna Kopp hooked up with your favorite influencer. This is literally what happens if I go to the Impulsive page and just sort most popular. These are the title thumbnails. Aiden Ross is dating his sister. I gave Summer Rae the D. There's not a single woman featured on Impulsive where the thumbnail title is not just treating her like a sex object. We want Summer Rae on OnlyFans. Hannah Mojo talks about her sexuality, threesomes, and Kylie. Huh? Meanwhile, every man you have on Impulsive is a misogynistic supervillain, such as known Andrew Tate seat sniffer Aiden Ross, Donald Trump, KSI, the Nelk Boys, Dan Blazarian. He's collecting internet villains like a white girl collecting Labubus. And God forbid Logan push back. No, he just sits there giggling like a golden retriever on pre-workout. I'm excited to be making something that's like edible today because I was getting really sick of making stuff that was too complex. I feel like this recipe is gonna be easy to pull off. That's a lot of PB, but this is how I like it. This cannot go wrong. I cannot fuck this up. This is an entire jar of peanut butter. I'm not gonna ruin this. If you were in The Whale and you were doing that scene where he just eats until he dies, what are you picking? I think I would pick Texas Roadhouse, Domino's Pizza. I'm not picking crumble cookies. I'm picking twisted sugar cookies. Utah, if you know, you know. Or Halloween candy. Death row meal, I go trick-or-treating and I eat all of it. That's my death row meal. Yes, but I have to be able to go trick-or-treating. That variety, you can't buy that variety and it tastes better when you earn it. Like that random ass house that has like vintage candy and all of a sudden you're eating 100 brand bar. You don't buy 100 brand, you happen upon 100 brands. Logan's podcast quickly became a clubhouse for men who think empathy is a new Kanye song. Recently, the show American Paul has come out on HBO Max. It's kind of a Kardashians Hulu-esque take on the Paul brothers' life. The show also gets into like their inner emotions as boy bosses. And what I found interesting is we do get to learn a little bit more about why they are the way that they are. For example, their dad is the worst. Greg Paul raised them sort of, and you can just tell by this outfit, something is not right. And maybe that outfit would make sense if your job was fighting snapping turtles, but you live in Ohio, so I'm just confused by this. This is a red flag. And then the way he speaks, obviously misogyny isn't like inherent as being a human being. You could tell this is where the Paul brothers get their fucked up views on women. Greg Paul hated Jake and Logan's mom. They got divorced when the boys were young, and it's revealed in this clip that Greg put a lot of pressure on the boys when they were little to ruin the mom's marriage.
He would like be so upset with me if at my mom's wedding, if I didn't stand up and object to the marriage. And so I was like sitting there the whole wedding, like just like crying basically and waiting until they would like say, does anyone object to the vows? But they never brought that up.
And it seems genuine because look how sad those little babies are. They were cute babies. You could tell they were actually thinking about it. I mean, there's another clip where Greg Paul gives the advice. There's plenty of tail out there. You don't need to rail the tail your buddy was railing. Ah yes, the wisdom of Father Paul. Straight from the Book of Testosterone, chapter Gas Station Boner Pills 69420. I'm gonna measure vanilla. I think that's one you do with your heart. Yeah, that feels good. Also, if you guys, again, were chronically online in 2015 like I was, this was peak internet, this was peak YouTube. Nothing beats being 14 and consuming internet culture like it's your own life. Now my friends are having babies. And I'm like, oh, but did you see the new James Charles drama? And they're like, what? I have a job. Well, it's been a big day for the unemployed community. But if you were chronically online at this time, you remember the Team 10 hype house sort of situation. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, they were feuding and they were making so much money off their feud. And then there was a girl introduced, Alyssa Violet, and Logan stole Alyssa Violet from Jake, and it was this whole thing. And you know, for me as a viewer, I thought it was totally all for cameras, but they kind of broke down that this ended up being a lot of turmoil for them as brothers and really fractured their family dynamic. But I think the way they talk about it shows what misogynistic pigs they were at the time. They didn't even view her as a living, breathing person. This wasn't a love triangle. This was the toxic masculinity Hunger Games. Like, I'm sure they love Alyssa Violet's thoughts on international affairs and clean energy. If you ever bought Team 10 merch, I think you're entitled to financial compensation. Comment below, but actually don't, because that will change my opinion on you. Gradually add powdered sugar until completely combined. My powdered sugar is kind of chunky. What's that about? Okay, 1, 2. Let's see how this gets us. We're at 2. 2, remember that. So now that we've established Logan's long-standing history of being a wonderful ally to women, let's talk about where things took a turn. So in 2022, Logan starts dating gorgeous model Nina Agdal. In the past, she's dated Leonardo DiCaprio and several other public figures. They ended up getting engaged after 7 months. And as soon as they announced their engagement, they were instantly barraged by disgusting incel internet trolls. And much of this harassment campaign was spearheaded by boxing contender Dylan Dennis. Literally, this was so disgusting, deep, and far-reaching. The internet, alongside Dennis, was sharing Nina Agdal nudes, deep fakes. There was a video I saw of a man analyzing her hair follicles on her hand. This harassment campaign made Reddit incel forums look like a book club. It got so bad that Logan filed a cease and desist, and Nina sued Dylan Dennis for $150,000 for leaking intimate images. That's disgusting and illegal. Like, what? Dylan Dennis is sick and twisted. What is that about? Oh no. So this was my 3rd cup of powdered sugar, but it already felt like it was at the consistency it needed to be, but I wanted to follow the instructions, and now it's gonna be way too dry. I don't even think it's gonna combine. Things are feeling really dry. That's what she said. Who can relate? Yeah. Oh no. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Oh golly goodness. This is not going well. This looks delicious. This is like the inside of a Reese's cup. Why are we calling these Ohio Buckeyes and not just, I could have bought this at the gas station for $2, but instead I made it for 20, and it took all day. That's our game show. But this is like actually kind of a fun recipe. I haven't had too many downfalls yet. Even when Logan and Nina announced a pregnancy, they still received insane levels of backlash and hate. Comments such as, I bet the baby's black. She's ran through. Why don't you start boxing her exes? Logan's own followers slut-shamed his pregnant, beautiful, kind wife. All of a sudden, Logan is facing real consequences from the audience that he has worked so hard to cultivate. You've spent all these years courting disgusting, misogynistic assholes, and now that you have personal stakes, now you're upset? What about all the other women that you've harmed in the process of building this nasty career? All the women who you've stepped on to get where you were that you never even cared about? Now it's personal to you, and now you're looking around thinking, huh, damn, this sucks. Now that I have a woman that I care about and see as a person. And even then, I'm not entirely convinced he sees his own wife as a person. I think he's one of those guys that sees her as like an appliance to his life, like, oh, my wife, not like, oh, Nina Agdal, my partner, you know? So with this consistency, it tastes like it needs more of a sugary pop. And I think if I had a stand mixer, I might be ballsy and try to put more ingredients, but because I don't want to mess with it. So I'm gonna take what I can get on this consistency. So why are we even talking about this right now? In one of the most recent episodes of Paul American, a clip has gone viral where Logan goes, I don't want to be a woke asshole, but like being a woman is like hard.
Come across like a woke asshole, but like, dude, women have it hard.
So obviously I was forced to go back and watch the show. This came up because in April 2024, they did their whole pregnancy announcement. And of course, Logan for sure thought he was gonna have a son. And in the show, we watched them do a gender reveal where Logan is shocked to find out that he is having a baby girl. He is standing there like having an out-of-body experience. Your odds are 50-50, and somehow he hadn't even come to terms with the fact that there was a possibility that he could be producing a female heir to the Paul dynasty. He literally says, I'm so fucked when he finds out he's having a daughter. I just think Logan's entire career of platforming misogynist, anti-woman pieces of garbage flashed before his eyes, and he thought, huh, I've done my fair share of contributing to making the world a worse place for women, and I'm bringing one into it. Nice. And this reaction is exactly what tells me that he doesn't see his wife Nina as a person, because I feel like he would have understood the plight of women a little bit better and not been so thrown off by the fact that he's having a daughter if he actually respected his wife, you know? Logan doesn't want to be a woke asshole, which is great because he's way more comfortable being a tone-deaf asshole. This whole compilation of Logan being like, maybe this is karma for the way I've treated women my whole life. Yes! Also, I don't know why having a daughter is some great punishment from God, but there is some irony to it. There is some tasteful irony, and obviously we hope the best for you as a parent. Obviously we hope the best for your daughter, but like, bro, I hope this makes him wake up and make some serious changes. Like, maybe stop having Aiden Ross on your podcast. Maybe grow a pair, and when the nasty ass freaks you have on your show who you platform say something disgusting, maybe stand up for women. Look at that. This is coming out. I mean, there's only one more step that I could fuck up. So I think this is pretty smooth sailing. At the same time, there's a broader conversation to be had here because Logan's not the first person to invent "I had a daughter and now I understand feminism." He just put it on HBO. This is called the daughter effect. A study showed that male CEOs with daughters tend to close the gender pay gap at their companies. Male judges with at least one daughter show a 9% increase in proportion of votes cast in a progressive direction on gender-related cases. Research indicates that fathers with daughters, particularly firstborns, oldest daughter effect, oldest daughters, I see you, I know you, we are renegades. We're the true mavericks. You, Logan Paul, oldest daughters are mavericks, tend to adopt more egalitarian views over time. A study found that men with school-aged daughters showed a significant decrease in traditional gender role attitudes compared to those without daughters. In the 2016 US presidential election, men with daughters were statistically more likely to vote for Hillary Clinton, suggesting a correlation between fathering daughters and supporting female leadership. There was also another study done in psychological science that found that fathers who actively participate in household chores are more likely to raise daughters with aspirations for non-traditional, high-achieving careers. I do think it's kind of cool that fathers and daughters change each other with that dynamic. I will definitely say that in my own family, my sisters are like the coolest people I know. Like, all of my siblings are so fucking cool. And I think we've definitely shaped our parents to be more politically engaged. Had my dad received the burly baseball playing, fishing, boy son he always wanted, he would have no personal growth. So I think it's kind of a beautiful thing that he got the 4 most over-the-top ridiculous kids you could ever have. It's kind of like when you get like a cunty little dog that your dad hates, but then it likes your dad the most and he becomes the best friends with the cunty little purse dog. All this to say, the path to male empathy is through the uterus. So as a man, you either have to experience ego death by doing shrooms at Burning Man or by raising a woman and realizing she's a person. Got it. But like, here's the sinister thing. This kind of empathy is only conditional. Men only respect women when it's in relation to them. A daughter, a wife, rarely just a woman. You know, the classic phrase, as a brother to sisters, as a son of a mother, as the father of a daughter. How about as a person seeing another person? It's like when a creepy guy hits on you and you just say no, he's more creepy, but if you lie and say you have a boyfriend, he'll leave you alone because he respects the boyfriend who's not even around, who he doesn't know. He respects you more as property of another man than as your own person. Studies show that when men work under female managers or collaborate with women in high power roles, they tend to be more egalitarian. I think oftentimes the only female authority figure that boys are exposed to is their teacher. I mean, when you think of like cops, presidents, mayors, doctors, everyday authority people, like more often than not, they're men. So not only do I think is there a certain element of like education and empathy, I think there's also societal structure that needs to happen for men to truly understand women in a more nuanced and normal way. So is Logan Paul changing and growing? Hopefully in the future, but in June 2024, even after Nina is terrorized, even after months of his fiance, wife, mother of his child is being terrorized, he knows he's bringing a daughter into this world, he still platforms Trump. He even makes a joke that he'd endorse him for $2 million, joking about assassination attempt merch. However, I guess I'll give him some points. Ooh, this looks like it was about to go south, but I think I stopped it. Oh my gosh, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. Yes, 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 yes. Not this going well for me. So now you take your frozen balls and you drop them into the chocolate, roll it around, throw it on there, and boom. Ideally, you'd have a toothpick so then it has like the eyeball on top, which is why it's called a buckeye. But you know, I'm sick of doing this project, so I'm just trying to be done. I guess if we want to give Logan Paul like brownie points, I will say he did shut down Andrew Tate. He chose not to interview Andrew Tate, which is like the bare minimum. There have been a couple interviews where he has called out his audience for being bigoted assholes, but like in less words, in a less direct way. Obviously, he doesn't want to bite the misogynistic shitty hand that feeds him. But at the end of the day, he still surrounds himself by shitheads. Like, what terrifies me is the sway that these men have on the next generation of men. Like, nothing is worse than that clip of Sneeko at the baseball game with the little boys who go, fuck women, right? We hate women, right, Sneeko? And Sneeko just has to stand there like, fuck the woman, fuck the woman. What? That's who's watching your content. That's who's watching you platform Dan Blazarian. And that's who's gonna go to the next generation of little girls, and that's who's watching your stuff and you know it. So there's a little bit of responsibility that's totally being avoided. And you're kind of a piece of shit like that, and I hope you having a daughter hopefully makes you realize women are people, although I would have rather had you realize women are people just because they are. This is what we're left with. Let's put these back in and do the second batch. You can't call me Miss Sandras. I have a dad and a brother. These are fantastic. I've needed a win recently. I've needed a win and this was it. I did it correctly, yes. We did it. And I don't even have powdered sugar in my hair. We did it, yes. No baking, no artistic skill. That's what we need on this show. That's the level that we're working at. So all of you fuckers who were mad at me like, you're wasting so much food, read it and weep. Eat it and weep, bitch. We got it, boom. But at the end of the day, Logan Paul is not a feminist. He is not an ally to women. He is at best a recovering misogynistic snake piece of shit with a lunchly problem. But come on guys, the man's from Ohio. It's easy to be that confident when the best export from your hometown is the road out. But let's not be so mad at Logan Paul for scamming millions with CryptoZoo. In his defense, he thought it was a Bizaardvark spinoff. I mean, both involve cartoon animals, confused children, and terrible acting. And if sibling rivalry were a sport, the Paul brothers have it on pay-per-view. They say blood is thicker than water, but it is certainly not thicker than a prime hydration. These assholes fight so much, I think their mom is now a qualified WWE ref. Also, Logan, your veneers are so white, they look like they called the cops on your haircut. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel. It really does help. I love seeing you guys on Instagram stories. I've been resharing all of your cute little stories and saying hi. I really appreciate that. It does help. And we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.